Hey everybody! As the title implies, I am going to be doing a question and answer about my study abroad experience in London. But before we get to the questions, I want to give you a little bit of a background about my program and my trip first, because this program is a little bit different and not your typical study abroad program. So the first thing you guys should know is that this program went from January 27th to April 21st, 2017, so it was for the spring semester, and it was only about 12 weeks, so it wasn't your average 16 weeks of college. Basically, I found this program through my school, my own college. It's a countrywide traveling program, so it's not just for like my school, but basically this specific program was for students and professors of different colleges around the country to come together on one trip, and we were all sitting in classes with American students and we were being taught by these professors. So basically I was sitting with American students and being taught by American professors. And as much as I would have loved to be sitting in classes with British students and being taught by British professors, it was actually kind of nice because I was in a school setting that I was familiar with, because like the classes and the homework that we were getting was similar to what I have back at home. Because being in a new country and having to live there for 3 months is already stressful enough, and that just honestly took away the stress of school. So I applaud all of you who can actually do that, and I'm pretty sure for all of you who are watching this, you are probably not in the same situation that I am in. So my experience is obviously going to be different than yours, but please keep watching because this is going to give you a bit of an insight about London. So if you kind of want to know more about London, then here we go. All right, now that you know a little background, let's get into the questions. Well, there are quite a few factors. So the first one is that my mom actually went there back in 2006, and even though she was only there for about a week, I thought it was so cool that she was doing something like this. And when she got back home, I loved hearing her stories of her experience and seeing pictures of everything that was there. And so from then on, I've always wanted to go there. Second thing is that London is known for theater, and I am a huge theater geek, and it just made sense for me to go there to see theater and to see theaters like the Globe Theater. So that was really interesting. And the third thing is that I am really big into Harry Potter and other British media, so I've learned a lot about London through those. Honestly, it really only took me a couple of weeks. I've heard somewhere that it actually takes a good 2 to 3 months to really understand the country and the country's culture, but because I was with Americans, it actually didn't take that long. But if I didn't have all the Americans with me, it probably would have taken me the entire journey for me to adjust. Yeah, I do agree with that statement, and yes, I grew. I am much more independent than I was before. So I live in a very small city with not much to do, and even the surrounding cities don't really have much to do for teenagers and young adults. So going from that to the big city of London was a huge change. But in order for me to explore London and see all of these different sites, I obviously had to be independent, and I had to have the motivation to go into London by myself and explore. I amazed myself once I did that. So yeah, I am much more independent than I was before, and now that I'm back home, I've actually found myself doing things that I never did before. Like, I'm doing my own grocery shopping, and I feel like I want to explore my own city more. This is going to sound very touristy, but I have to say the London Eye. My mom went on it when she was in London in 2006, and ever since then, she's always wanted me to do it. We've been talking about me going to London for quite a while now, and every time we talk about it, she always tells me, you have to go on the London Eye, you have to go on the London Eye. So I've just kind of been hearing my mom tell me about that, and honestly, now that I have been on the London Eye, it's amazing. You get such a great view of it, and it's a nice way to see the heart of London from a higher ground. I would actually have to say the Alexandra Palace Gardens, Park, whatever you want to call it. So Alexandra Palace is a palace that sits on a hill, and the hill is a nice grassy open area that has benches and trails for people who want to sit and walk on it. And the best thing about it is that it has a great view of London from it. My pictures don't do justice, but you can see some of the skyscrapers from there. You don't get the major London skyline, but you do get a great view of London, and it's a really great area if you want a nice quiet area away from the noise of the city. Hands down, the transportation system. It would be so nice to have more transportation to some of these surrounding cities that do have things for teenagers and young adults to do, because some of us don't have our own cars and some of us don't even have our own license yet, so it would be really nice for us to actually do those things. Digestives. I know it sounds so weird and many of you probably have no idea what I'm talking about, but they are cookies. And they are cookies that were originally designed to help the digestive system break down food, and they've really become a phenomenon, and the company has now made lots of different forms of these cookies. The main form is chocolate covered, and there actually is a British store near me at home, and I actually found digestives there. So I actually have digestives right here, and this is what the bag looks like, but I'm not actually going to take out one of the cookies because they're all stuck together right now. So that's what the bag looks like for any of you who want to go hunting for it, and for all you Americans, they literally taste like Keebler cookies. So I would highly recommend trying them. And second, I do have to give a shout out to my favorite restaurant, Franco Manca Pizza. They are so amazing, and the unique thing about this pizza is that they make their pizza with sourdough. So it gives the pizza a really unique taste. I would highly recommend eating there too because they're just so amazing, and I wish we had them here. That would have to be homesickness. I've done a lot of traveling in my life, but this was the longest time I had ever been away from home, and I have a really good relationship with my family, so I wasn't sure how bad the homesickness was going to be. I FaceTimed my parents every week, and I even took a stuffed animal that resembled my pet rabbit with me, but what really helped me the most was music. The music that I listened to was music that I've actually grown up listening to, and that actually reminded me of home. And basically how I kind of got over my homesickness was I just kept telling myself that this was an experience of a lifetime and I'm gonna be home before I know it. So take your time and live here in the moment. I would have to say interact with more British people. I really didn't get many opportunities to do that while I was over there. I'm not really a big sociable person, so I can't really just go to bars or clubs and just interact with people there. And the program didn't really give us many opportunities to interact with British people at the school. So really, I didn't really get the chance to do that. And so what I would do differently is that I would find these opportunities to meet British people. I really don't have any regrets about anything that happened there, but I do wish we had more time everywhere that we went. So the program organized a couple of trips for us, and they organized weekend trips to Italy and Scotland, and we also had day trips to the Roman baths, to Brighton, to Stonehenge and Salisbury, and I just wish we had more time at everywhere we went to. With these trips, we had so much to do in so little time, and I honestly felt like we were rushed, but I don't regret my time there because we did so much in so little time, and I experienced a lot in those cities and countries. That would be Nigel, our tour guide for a lot of the trips that we went on. He was our tour guide for our bus tour of London, Salisbury and Stonehenge, the Roman baths. He was literally everywhere, but he was so funny and so amazing. Everyone from my program enjoyed having him as our tour guide. I think the happiest moment was the first day that I explored London by myself. I went to Alexandra Palace first, and then I walked around the area by Big Ben and Westminster Abbey, and I honestly felt so free because I could do whatever I wanted to do and I was by myself. So there's just something about that feeling of being free. So yeah, I was just like super happy that day. The scariest moment would be when I flew by myself to my side trip to Germany. I've been on airplanes alone before, but this was the first time that I actually had to go to the airport, maneuver my way through the airport, and get on the plane by myself. And I had no one to see me off. So it was a little scary doing that. I did have somebody come and pick me up on the other side in Germany, but going there, a little bit scary. And the stupidest thing I did was get the wrong shirt as a present. So I was walking around Camden Market one day and they had a lot of shirts. They have a lot of shops with like a lot of random t-shirts around, and there was one that actually caught my eye. And it actually had the caption, "So my family member went to London and all I got was this lousy t-shirt." And I thought that was so funny, and my dad has a sense of humor, and so I thought that this shirt was perfect for him. So of course I went to one of the shops and I bought him one. But a lot of these shops don't really have any way of paying electronically, and they don't really give you receipts either. So of course I had to pay the guy in cash and I didn't get a receipt. So I didn't look at the shirt when I bought it, and when I got back to my host house, I brought it out of my bag and I realized it said my son went to London instead of my daughter, and I was like, oh no. So of course there was no way I was going to return it that day, and there was no way I was going to return it without a receipt. So I found a way to give it away. So I went to a different shop to get a different shirt, and I made sure it said my daughter this time. I never did any driving when I was in London, but I did have to take the double-decker bus every single day in order to get to the train station, in order to get into the city. So of course, whenever I was on one of those buses, I always wanted to be on the top in the front, because they have this huge windshield that you can look out onto the road to see where the bus was driving to. And it was so interesting being up there. So I got a front row seat to driving on the left side of the road. It was a little weird at first, but I did eventually get used to it. Funny story. So like I said before, the program organized a trip for us to go to Italy, and of course Italians drive on the right side of the road. And we had been in London for about 2 months by the time we went to that trip, so all of us had definitely gotten used to driving on the left side of the road. And so when we got to Italy, it was a little weird at driving on the right side of the road again. But it didn't take long for us to get used to the right side again, but we were only in Italy for about 3 to 4 days, so when we got back to London we had to get used to the left side of the road again, so it was a little weird going back and forth from the right side to the left side. Alright, so that's it for questions for this video. If you have any more questions, feel free to comment them below and I will answer them for you. And if you have your own London experiences, please comment them as well, because I would love to hear about your experience in London. Thank you for listening to mine, and that's a wrap!